This video tutorial is called the Andy Warhol Project. Now, Andy Warhol, 1950s, is quite an eccentric artist, very different from the day of artists. He was a photographer, a designer, and basically brought photography and art into the graphic design era. Back then, he was pretty famous. It took a while for him to be that famous, but eventually he became pretty famous. Here's some interesting pictures. Can you imagine 1950s looking like this, with a hair like that? So quite an eccentric artist. The famous Marilyn Monroe, here's a picture or a design that he did of Marilyn Monroe. What he did is he took a picture of her face very close up, and he screen printed different colors. You can see that the colors kind of duplicate here, and screen printed and made these prints, and they were very large. You could put on your wall, and they're end up being very famous. He also would take things like, I'll put Andy Warhol Coke bottle. He took popular things like Coca-Cola bottles and did these type of prints, again screen printed, and became very iconic. Everyone loved them. He also did the I'll put Andy Warhol soup can, Campbell soup can. And again, he took a photograph and then made a graphic design out of it. And once he did that, it became very, again, iconic, and people would have these on their walls, and then stores would use them and advertise. And so, very interesting. All types of screen printed of the soup can. So you take just American iconic things and make it popular. Look how large these prints were. Okay, so today what we're going to do is we're going to do an Andy Warhol project using your face to be the project here. So let's just go in Illustrator. Adobe Illustrator is going to be on your dock down here. Just click on Illustrator. And what we're going to do is Adobe Illustrator is a vector file based program. So that is done with lines more than pixels. So pixels are more raster based, and they've got squares of light. This would be more lines drawn. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to File and New. We're going to make a new piece of paper. So let's take that piece of paper, and if it's not 15 inch by 15 inch, let's make it 15 inches, change it to inches if it's not inches, and change it to 15 by 15, and let's make a nice big piece of paper, a canvas. Then I'm going to take a photograph of myself here, or at least one that I've had shot. Let me get a Photoshop here for a minute. We're going to use Photoshop here in a minute too on this. But I've got a photo here of my face, and I'm going to take that and just drag it right onto Illustrator and let go. And it's going to open it up. Wow, there's a photo of me. Now, if it doesn't fit inside your canvas, if it's a little bit bigger, just click on it once with your black arrow, which is the selection tool, and drag it up, holding down Shift, it constrains the proportions. Drag it and fit it in that box. So grab on an anchor point. Okay, and this fit it in that box. So grab here. Okay, let's get it fit. Make sure it fit. Oh, it's so large. Huh? Okay, and we want to crop it like he would have done it. So let's make it, so it's that size here. Okay, so we've got it selected here. Now, as soon as we've got it selected, I'm going to reduce the size of this. You don't have to see my face quite so large. I'll do 50%. Okay, fit it in there. Let's see if I can drag it in this box here. Now, the next thing you want to do is we want to click on, right next to image trace, there's a little arrow. Click on the little arrow and go to 3 colors. We're going to drop out all of the tones, and Adobe Illustrator is going to pick 3 of the main basic colors in this and give us a graphic design. Now, when you see this, Andy Warhol would have turned over in his grave. He would have been so excited to how quickly this was done. He had to use a dropout camera to do this, but this is a very quick way to get a very interesting look of your face. Okay. Now, once you have that, let's go to File. Well, let's do this. Before we go on any further, let's bring this up a little bit bigger. So you can see a little bit bigger here. Okay. And let's play with some of the colors here. Now, it muted the colors because it used the colors in my shirt, and it kind of averaged 3 colors out here. White, kind of a brownish color, and then a darker gray. Let's go ahead and expand this. So what you want to do is click on Expand. Expand's going to vector point each one of these colors. So every line is vector, has a point. Viewpoint, so we could change these. Now, how you change those and how you change the colors is you click on what's called the Direct Select tool. It's the little white arrow. And I'm just going to click on my hair just once. I can click off of this so you see everything. I'm going to click on my hair just once. And I can come up here to your color palette. Now, your color palette's over here. So if you want to click on it, click on your little, on your color palette here, and then you got some colors. I'm going to make that red. And then I'm going to click on my face here. I'm going to make that yellow. Kind of a green color, and I can click on the camera here and I can make that a light blue. So go ahead and click on some of the colors here and do some fun, interesting colors, kind of like Andy Warhol would have done in the 50s to Marilyn Monroe's face. I'm going to click on here in my hand, do a light blue, well, I'll do a yellow on there. So use some basic colors. I've got a magenta, let's go a little more magenta on this. So I'm just using some basic colors, kind of fun. Now, if I want to click on the background here, I can click on it, and I can also change it to a color. Okay, maybe a little bit too dark. Yeah, something like that looks good. And then my white forehead, I can make it some contrasting color. So have fun just kind of making some changes. Get creative here and see what you think. Okay. And once you're feeling pretty good about it, and you're liking what you're getting, then we want to save this. So it's kind of an interesting look. It might be kind of fun profile picture in your Facebook page or whatever, or just a neat art project. And then go to File, Save As, and I'm going to save it as me, Warhol face, all right? And then I'm just going to put that on my desktop so I can find it quickly here. And hit OK to make it a Adobe Illustrator file. Okay, now I'm done with Illustrator, so I'm just going to minimize Illustrator here. And I'm going to take that same picture here, and I'm going to drag it onto Photoshop. Hit OK. And now I've got this in Photoshop. Okay. Now the next thing I want you to do is make a new document in Photoshop. So we're going to go to File, New. And let's make an 8 by 10 inch piece of paper. So make sure you change this to inches. And let's go 8 by 10 with 300 resolution for printing purposes, okay? And hit OK, so it makes a nice canvas. And drag your photo onto that canvas. So go to Move Tool and drag that onto, and it's going to be huge, Command-T, and then hold down Shift to make it smaller. Now if you hit Command-0, you can see the whole canvas. Now I want you to make 4 of these. So you're going to kind of make it a little 4 quadrant here. Just kind of do like that. All right, check mark. Now let's make a duplicate of this. Oh, I got to make it a little bit smaller. Okay, I got to get it. Now one thing good about Photoshop, hit check mark again, hit Command-R. Command-R shows you rulers. And if you click right on the ruler itself here, click and drag, it brings a guideline out. So I'm going to bring one out at 4 inches and one at 5 inches. So I'm dividing it perfectly in half. So now when I click on this, I can fit it in that quadrant there. Now, to make a copy of this, there's lots of ways to do it. I can always go, let me just delete this or put it down for a minute. I can always make a copy of this, this layer here. I can just right-click on it and duplicate the layer and hit OK. Now, if I drag here, I've got 2. Or a quick way to do it is you can drag the layer right onto the new layer box. That makes another layer. Or the third way to do it, hold down Option and drag, and that makes another layer copy as well. Okay, so now I've got them all 3. Let's change each one a little bit different. So the top one here, I'm going to leave it the same. This one here, okay, I'm going to change it. So I'm going to hit Command-U. Now, just remember, you've got image and adjustments. You've got lots of adjustments you can do to your photographs and your art. But Command-U is hue and saturation. Okay, I'm going to put this to the side here, and I'm going to play with the hues and watch all the different colors I can get. Hit OK. I'm going to come down to this one here. Command-U. And then this one here, Command-U. Cool. And then I want you to take your type tool with black selected, click once, and probably about, a 30-point type, put your name. Okay, so I'm going to put my name here, Crandall. Like I'm the artist, like Andy Warhol would have done, and you can put that down in the corner if you'd like to make it look professional. Okay. So it's kind of a fun art project. It's a neat look to it. You can imagine that being printed big and put on your bedroom wall or a wall in your home or an art studio. It's just a fun look. This is what Andy Warhol would do in the 50s. Very, very unique for its time and very contrasty and different than anyone else was doing in the art programs at that time. And he became very famous for it. So what we want to do is to save this, we want to go to our layer, flatten image. Now, by the way, when you flatten image, you're going to lose all of your layers here. So let's not even do that. Let's go to File, Save As. And I'm going to save one copy is me Warhol. Okay, I'll put Warhol Crandall. Okay. And I'm going to save that on my desktop. So I've got it saved with all of the layers. Hit maximum capability, yes. Okay. And then do one more. File, Save As. And change that right here, your format, to JPEG. Now you've got two. So one's going to be called PSD for a Photoshop document. The other one's going to be a JPEG file on your desktop. So now you can upload that to your website. You've got it as a photo document. You can print it and have a good time with it. So that is this Andy Warhol project tutorial.